Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Talking Business with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Barbados, or ICAB. I'm Lisa Padmore, Chief Executive Officer of ICAB. Last week, the Governor of the Central Bank of Barbados delivered the bank's report on the economy's performance for the first quarter of 2025. The good performance recorded in 2024 continued into 2025 with the tourism, services, and construction sectors performing well. Real gross domestic product, or GDP, grew by 2.6%. GDP is the total value of goods and services produced in the economy in a given period. Real GDP is the total value of goods and services in a given period with inflation taken out. Other positive indicators included a downward decline in inflation and a further reduction in the debt to GDP ratio. Debt to GDP ratio is a metric that compares the level of public debt to the country's GDP. It is viewed as an indicator of a country's ability to repay its debts. At the end of March, the debt to GDP ratio was 101%, a significant reduction from 158% in 2017. The release of the economic report last week was timely, as this week the government is hosting a staff visit from the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, as the IMF completes its final review under the arrangements with the government of Barbados. The current administration first negotiated in 2018 an arrangement under the IMF's Extended Fund Facility to assist the government with the implementation of the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation, or BERT program. The Barbados economy had experienced successive periods of underperformance, and the BERT program, with the support of the IMF, was aimed at restoring economic stability to the country. The government again in 2022 went to the IMF to discuss the implementation of a further iteration of the BERT plan, BERT 2.0, supported by the IMF under the Extended Fund Facility and the implementation of reform measures under the Resilience and Sustainability Facility arrangement. This second arrangement with the IMF concludes later this year. The good news delivered by the governor was tempered with the announcement that the growth expectations announced at the start of the year are being revised down from 3.0% growth in real GDP to 2.7% growth in real GDP. The central bank cites global economic pressures and the slowing momentum in some of the country's key sectors as the reason for the revision. With the continuing uncertainties in the global market and their future impact on our local economy, ICAB believes it is prudent to remind our listeners about healthy financial behaviors and making informed decisions. It's important to know yourself and your spending habits. I'm sure you've heard the term living beyond your means. The first step is to understand what you spend your wages or salaries on and understand if that expense represents a need or a want in your life. We can't live without our needs, but we can, with some discipline, live without our wants. Create and follow a budget. Nothing fancy, but sometimes it helps to put it on paper or use a spreadsheet. What is your income and what are your expenses? We previously spoke about our spending and our needs and our wants. Once you've identified your income and deduct your expenses, any surplus is available for savings. If there's a deficit, then we need to drill down into those expenses to see what can be trimmed, or do we need to seek additional income? Save money for emergencies and long-term goals. The surplus from your budget is what can be saved, and we need to plan for a future that is full of uncertainties. Those savings can be placed on a bank savings account or a credit union account or in another investment vehicle if you are savvier in that area. Establish and maintain good credit. If you have a loan with a bank or credit union, or you have an appliance or a furniture or hire purchase from one of the retail stores, ensure money is set aside to settle your monthly payments on the loan or hire purchase. If you foresee that you will not have the money to make that payment, talk to the institution before the payment is due. Avoiding calls from the bank or the store will only hurt your ability to borrow in the future. Finally, protect yourself from fraud and identity theft. There has been no slowing down of attempts by bad actors to steal our information from the companies Barbados interface with or directly from us with numerous phishing emails and WhatsApp messages. Be extra careful when emails are sent to you from banks asking you to click on a link or to add your bank account or credit card number. When in doubt, call the bank to determine if the request was legitimate. We encourage you to be vigilant and to make informed decisions. My name is Lisa Padmore, and this has been Talking Business with ICAB.